Welcome back. Motormouth Congress leader Digvijaya Singh has landed his party in a soup one more time by questioning surgical strikes and even the Pulwama attack in 2019. Speaking at a public meeting in Jammu, Singh said that the centre has yet to show a report on the surgical strikes and the Pulwama attack. He questioned Narendra Modi-led government for allowing the Pulwama attacks to take place. After this, BJP said that Digvijaya Singh is echoing Pakistan's narrative and that he doesn't have any patriotism left in him. The BJP has also attacked the Congress for repeatedly dishonouring the armed forces. Remember, whether it's the surgical strikes of 2016 or 2019, the Balakot airstrikes that were done post-Pulwama, both were announced by the Indian Army. Speaking of the Army, this isn't the first time the Congress has questioned the Army directly or indirectly. Remember, Rahul Gandhi himself had made the Khoon Ki Dalali comment post-Pulwama. Take a look at some other examples. Rahul Gandhi just last year, post-India-China troops clashes, had said that the Chinese are thrashing Indian soldiers in Arunachal, which was very contrary to the videos and what the information was saying. Navjot Singh Sidhu of the Congress party earlier had also questioned the Balakot airstrikes, asking, were you uprooting terrorists or trees? He had mocked the Balakot airstrikes. Sandeep Dixit had famously called or infamously called the army chief of the time a Sadak ka Gunda in 2017. Sanjay Nirupam had said in 2016 that every Indian wants surgical strikes, but not a fake one. While Anand Sharma of the Congress party had also asked for, quote, credible evidence about the surgical strikes. Now, for the surgical strikes in 2016, the government had released footage a few years later. But speaking specifically of the Pulwama attack and the subsequent Balakot airstrikes, for which no, quote, proof was released, even then, Pakistan Prime Minister Imran Khan had on at least 2 occasions ended up accepting India's action. Listen in.
There was a suicide bomb which went off in Kashmir. Indian soldiers were killed and they blamed us. Rather than giving us evidence, they bombed us. Fortunately, there was no loss of life.
जिस तरह पुलवामा के बाद इन्होंने बालाकोट में एक्शन लिया था.
So why is it that the Congress is questioning Pulwama and surgical strikes? Is it not another self-call? Because this is something that nobody, not even Pakistan, disputes anymore.
सर्जिकल स्ट्राइक की बात करते हैं कि हमने इतने लोग मार गिराए, लेकिन प्रमाण कुछ नहीं.
कांग्रेस पार्टी का चरित्र, भारत जोड़ो यात्रा तो नाम की है, भारत को तोड़ने का कार्य स्वयं राहुल गांधी और तमाम कांग्रेस के नेता उनके इशारे पर कर रहे हैं.
आज तक ये बात खुलासा नहीं कर पाई भारत की सरकार कि आखिर ये 3 क्विंटल आरडीएक्स आया कहां से.
Tuhin Sinha of the BJP and Lokesh Jindal of the Congress party continue to stay with us. Dr. Tara Karta is former Director, National Security Council Secretariat, joining us. Thank you. Lokesh Jindal, let me begin with you. I'm not quite sure what is happening in the Congress party. Now we've had Jairam Ramesh of the Congress party come out and distance himself from this comment made by Digvijaya Singh. But till about an hour ago, the Congress was very happily responding to what Digvijaya Singh had said and backing the questions that Digvijaya Singh was raising on Pulwama attack also and the Balakot airstrikes or surgical strikes also. I'm not sure how any of this helps the Congress party. What are you questioning? Surgical strikes proven, Balakot airstrikes proven. Now, if your contention is that Pulwama was some sort of a false flag operation, then you must say it openly.
Our concern is, when will the government come out with a clean policy with respect to Jammu and Kashmir? After the Uri attack, it was a Fidain attack. The government claims a surgical strike.
What do you mean claims?
But still in 2019, when I'm talking about 2016 surgical strikes,
yes,
what had been reported by the media has not been corroborated or upheld by other agencies.
Like which one?
So, what has been claimed by the army, what has been claimed by the media, what has been claimed by Pakistan, what has been claimed by UN, what has been claimed by other institutions, they all diverge there is no common source of information.
No, one second. You're talking about 2016 surgical strikes. The government released footage of that surgical strikes. The army is on record to say they conducted it. Is that not enough for you?
Well, the data that was quoted by the government and the data that was quoted by the army, the data that was responded to by Pakistan, the data, the government claimed that 70 Pakistan soldiers have died. Whereas that was something which was not claimed by the army. And then Pakistan also claimed the figures that were quoted by Pakistan were different.
So with respect how does it matter what Pakistan is quoting to you? I'm not understanding. Why is it even relevant that what Pakistan is quoting?
Because the data that is put forth by the media without any formal agency supporting it.
No, I'm not asking you about data. Lokesh, I'm not asking you about data. I'm just simply saying...
You did ask me about the data.
No, I am simply saying that surgical strikes happened or didn't happen. Are you in disagreement? Whether they happened or didn't happen?
The response that the government claims
that the surgical strikes,
magnitude of it is something that is debatable. But despite 2016, 2019 happened.
No, I'm not getting into that. No, I'm not getting into that. I'm sorry, I'm not getting into that because that's not what Digvijaya Singh said. You can't now come on the back of Digvijaya Singh's statement and say, oh, but why did this happen? I'll come to that in just... No, 1 second. My fundamental question is, I want to bring in Tarakarta before I go across to Tuhin Sinha. Tarakarta, I don't understand what the objection here is. I think the Congress is caught between a rock and a hard place, because it doesn't want to be seen as not believing the Indian Army's words, because it is the Indian Army that came out and announced both the surgical strikes in 2016 and the Balakot airstrikes in 2018. Now, if you continue to question it in 2023, there is a problem, or you enumerate very clearly what your objection is.
I think if it wasn't so sad, it would be humorous. I mean, 2016, there was enough put out by the government. 2019, you have an army, the Air Force chief saying something. Okay, don't believe the politicians. At least believe the Air Force chief. And like you said, believe the Pakistani Prime Minister who called an emergency meeting. The Pakistani Foreign Minister at that time who had said that India has crossed into our thing. They were furious. I mean, what more do you want? For example, I mean, which country ever questions their armed forces? You had the US, for example, taking out Osama bin Laden. Did Americans stand up and say, hey, where's the body? You haven't shown us the body yet. It's as ridiculous as that. I mean, what more? I'm sorry, I find it is tragic. It is nothing short of tragic.
No, you're absolutely right.
We should question something which we've done, and we've done brilliantly. It's one of the most brilliant moves in our strategic history.
Yes, Mr. Jindal, you want to respond? What more will it take? Why does the Congress party keep doing this? And now Jairam Ramesh is saying we distance ourselves from this statement. We have also conducted surgical strikes under UPA. Fair, well and good. But why must you discredit the army statement? These were not announced by the government.
Nobody is discrediting
the
statement, madam.
You are. You can't keep questioning. You can't keep questioning it and then saying we are not discrediting. You are.
Madam, allow me to answer.
Yes.
Madam responded about the 2019 Balakot strike, and I was discussing about the 2016 surgical strike that happened. What we intend to say is these strikes, these operations are meant to achieve a particular objective and an end. Now, government cannot act without a policy, without some form of a goal, without some form of an end. Come on, the lives of soldiers are not for thumping of egos of some statesman or a politician. So when the government, it claims surgical operations, it claims certain policy initiatives, we cannot afford to lose lives of Jawans.
Okay,
right now,
so you're saying what has been achieved. I'll come to that. Tuhin Sinha, come in on the first issue first up. I'll come to the what did Pulwama, what did the Balakot airstrikes achieve or surgical airstrikes achieve? I'll come to that question. Fundamentally what is also sinister, Tuhin, is that in all of these statements, especially about Pulwama that keep getting made, if you look at what Digvijaya Singh is asking again today, there's almost a suggestion, and some have made that blatantly, that somehow Pulwama was an inside job. that somehow it was done because the 2019 elections were coming up. I think that is the most sinister of all conspiracy theories that are being spread.
Absolutely, absolutely. Shivani, Digvijaya Singh's statement, his comments today are an extension of the Congress mindset to undermine our armed forces and to aid the enemy. And the same guy, Digvijaya Singh, has been doing it since 2009. If you remember, immediately after 2611, he released a book, 2611 RSS Ki Sajish. So he has been aiding the enemy from time immemorial. But under Rahul Gandhi, the Congress has been working on a more sinister agenda, because when it comes to China, you know, in response to a video where Indian soldiers are pushing back the Chinese, Rahul Gandhi says just the opposite. During Doklam, he was instead of drawing his information from the defense ministry, he was hobnobbing with the Chinese officials at the Chinese embassy. So somewhere the Congress needs to realize that by continuously undermining our armed forces, casting aspersions on their credentials, because again, why I'm saying this? Because if you remember, the first confirmation of the surgical strikes came from one of the senior most officials of the IAF around afternoon on the same day when it happened. It did not come from the government. So, you know, by repeatedly questioning the surgical strikes, you are casting aspersions on the Indian Air Force, on our armed forces, which will not be tolerated by the country.
Tara Karta, Lokesh Jindal is asking the question, you did the surgical strikes in 2016, what did it achieve? Because Pulwama happened. Please respond to that. But I may add one thing, that after 2016 surgical strikes, the Congress, you know, suddenly woke up and said, but first they objected to it, first they said they refuted it, then they said, but we also did it. Anyways, respond.
I think it's the 2016 strikes where it was a limited move. So it kind of gave an intention that we are willing to escalate. And that I think Pakistan did not take that as a firm resolve, which is why 2019 happened. That surgical strike, definitely these strikes across the border have taken place before. They have taken place during Congress time also, which is why it's surprising why they said it didn't happen. But 2019 was a game changer, because we outgamed their game. Others for 30 years, they were launching terrorist attacks with impunity and nobody could do. So basically, you just said we are not playing your game anymore. In actual fact, Shivani, it didn't matter what you hit. You went across the border and you gave them the fright. We said, we are not playing this game anymore. And that is basically an escalation from the warning of 2016. We escalated in 2019 and we went in. And that is a signal of very, very strategic importance. And no matter what Congress says, you can scream and cry as much as you want, but that was a game changer.
Yeah, Lokesh Jindal, ultimately it only hurts your party to keep raising these comments. You've been, to use a boxing term, given a bloodied nose, making all of these comments and then, losing public face and losing elections predominantly on these issues. It doesn't go down well with the public. I don't know why the Congress keeps doing this.
The Congress stands with the soldiers because it is the soldiers who sacrificed their lives. After 2016, what happened was 2019, Pulwama. 1 month prior to that attack, in January itself, there were as many as 11 intelligence inputs that were shared. But still, those 40 CRPF Jawans, they lost their lives.
Okay, I have limited time, so let me give 30 seconds to Tuhin Sinha to respond to that. That ultimately we have not seen the report on why Pulwama happened. Shouldn't somebody be made to pay for those lapses at least, Tuhin?
Well, Shivani, the Congress goal on the issue of national security is very amusing. Apart from one Balakot, apart from one terror attack, there has not been a single attack in the last 8 years. Compare it with the time between 2006 to 2008. Every 30 days, there was a state capital that would be rocked with endless terror blasts. So I don't understand the Congress goal on questioning this government's stand on national security when its performance in the last 9 years has been one of the most credible when it comes to national security.
Okay, I have to leave it at that. I've run out of time. I do thank all of our guests for joining us. That's a wrap from me. My colleague Anand is joining you with the right stuff.